So it's time to wake up from your slumber. If you've been sleeping in the cryptocurrency space for the past few months, well, it seems like we're crawling back up. We're almost up to $400 billion for the market cap of cryptocurrencies. And not just that, but last weekend, there's something quite interesting happening on the market. So we're going to take a look at what's happening overall, coupled with a little bit of news coming out today. First of all, it seems like Amazon's catching onto this whole cryptocurrency space and offering AWS servers for it. Then we have a $99 million Litecoin transaction that only cost cents. And finally, we have Kraken's response to the New York Attorney's Office, and it wasn't very pleasant. So all this on today's Boxmining Daily. I do want to say, of course, everything covered here is my personal opinion and not financial advice. Let's start off with the market recap first of all. So something peculiar happened this weekend, which is exactly nothing. That's right. This weekend, we didn't have that weekend dip that cryptocurrency is so famous for. For a long time now, it seems like, well, it was seemed like almost every weekend there was a 10% dip in the price of cryptocurrencies. But this weekend was the first week where it seems to be like everything held steady, and in fact, it grew a little. So we've been consistently pushing up quite a bit, and we're almost at $400 billion for the price market cap of cryptocurrencies. And this is up around almost 40%. It was $250 billion around 2 weeks ago. So quite a lot has been happening. So let's start off with Amazon, or more precisely AWS, Amazon Web Services. They've been noticing how popular cryptocurrencies have been, and they're really going and deep diving into the space and introducing Amazon blockchain templates for both Ethereum and Hyperledger Fabric. This means it's just easier for developers to spin up servers and try experimenting and doing their own and writing their own dApps for Ethereum and Hyperledger Fabric. But that also means, of course, I view this as more projects are going to stick the AWS logo on the project and say, yeah, you know what, we're partnered with AWS, because you know that's the cryptocurrency thing to do. But regardless of how the crypto community is going to publish and advertise this, what is important to notice is that people are taking aware, developers are coming into the space, and this is very much needed. We need developers to come in to make those apps, to have those bright new ideas and entering those space with new concepts to deliver. Next up, we have someone just transferred $99 million worth of Litecoin, and they only took around 40 cents of fees. I just can't believe they just missed it by one. They could have gone for 1 million Litecoin. That would have made much better news, but we'll have to do with 99 million. But this is the biggest advantage of cryptocurrencies, and it seems to be the case that the media is reporting the other side now. You know, early in January, people were talking about how ridiculous the fees are. Yeah, you're going to send $1 and spend $100 in fees. Well, now we're talking about the reverse. We're talking about, yeah, let's send $1 million and we'll only get charged 40 cents in fees. That's because cryptocurrency transactions, they take account not the amount transferred, but the amount of space it takes to execute this instruction. So this is a very big difference between, you know, PayPal or other financial services that take a flat percentage of large transactions. So on cryptocurrencies, large transactions actually cost less money, and it scales a little bit differently, because if it actually comes from just one input, if this transaction, if someone else transfers this 99 million, it'll be even cheaper because they'll have less input. It's not crazy how cheap crypto transaction can be if the transaction size is very large. And on top of that, it's borderless. We've seen recently in the past few days that PayPal really changed their payment structure, and they've been charging more for international destinations. And this is where cryptocurrency can shine, because crypto doesn't care where in geographically that cryptocurrency is going. Next up, we have Kraken. So this is a situation that's been developing and brewing up for a while, especially in the States, because in the States, they're trying very hard to crack down on securities being listed on exchanges. So what's happening is that the New York Attorney's Office, they sent a questionnaire to various exchanges to say, you know what, how are you guys doing things? Well, let's ask for more questions. It's obvious that they're building up legal cases over here. So the New York Attorney's Office, they're building up new cases, and Kraken you know what, decided to be bold and to not comply with those regulations. This is a little bit different. This is a little bit different strategy. My view on this is that Kraken, it seems like they might have to move out of the US market. If you take this bold step and not comply with these questionnaires, it's very likely that you have to stop accepting US customers in the future. And that's because the US, they're very protective about who gets listed where, and if you don't comply, that usually means trouble in the long term. But there are companies who are complying this, for example, Coinbase or Circle. So the strategy for every exchange is going to be different. Some exchanges, for example, Binance, they're going for Malta. They're not going to target US directly, whilst other changes, they might be considering leaving the US, leaving the shores of the US, and others will be complying, but there will be a cost to compliance. I do see this as quite a shame that there is so much compliance being added to this. We saw Bitfinex leaving US as well last year, saying, oh yeah, we don't want to cater to US customers, and that means US customers might have to pay a premium in the long run for cryptocurrency. This is definitely not a good thing for the future. Having extra regulations in place is definitely a little bit of a barrier to adoption. We definitely have to fight for a right and definitely have to make sure that the people in the States understand that cryptocurrency is not a crime, and also there's so many benefits for having this. For example, Binance, this is announced by CZ here, that they're partnering up with Crypto Savannah and they're trying to transform Uganda. So they're trying to offer almost 1,000 jobs in Uganda for blockchain, and that's damn interesting. These few months has been a clear case that there are applications to blockchain technology, and more than that, a lot of blockchain projects are taking off. I'm not sure if you guys noticed this, but an example of this would be I'm using the Brave browser more, and this is related to the cryptocurrency basic attention token. So one of the reasons why I made the switch is because websites like CNBC, they have a nasty notice if you're using a ad blocker to say, you know what, please stop using an ad blocker or turn it off or something. But if you're using Brave, you're automatically blocking the ads at a browser level, and also they get paid in terms of cryptocurrency as well. And this is basically a completely new way of revisiting browser space. The other reason for that I'm using it now is because Brave has improved a lot on the desktop. Before, it wasn't as stable. Now it's almost usable. There is still probably a 1 to 2% chance sometimes websites don't work correctly, but it's much more usable than it was at last year. So I see the technology really improving and progress is being made in this space, and I'm really excited to explore a few projects with you guys this week. So if you guys are interested in me exploring a few more topics, check them out. Put a link, put a comment down below to see what projects I should visit next or take a deep dive at, and I would love to do that with you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Remember to click the little subscribe button to subscribe to this video, and click the little notification bell to be notified of new videos when they're released. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time.